Hello, and welcome back to Hunter Tuned. Today I'm going to answer a question that I get quite a bit on the channel about my Fox Body Mustang with a LS swap in it, and it has a stock K-member as well. So people always ask me what motor mounts I am using with my swap, and I figured I'd show you guys the kind of the parts and stuff that come with the mounts and what you need and what you don't need, and kind of how to put them onto the motor. So I use the Dirty Dingo swap mounts. They're like swap plates. So pretty much these are just the plates that get bolted onto the engine, and they are labeled driver side and passenger side. So driver side will obviously bolt onto the right side of the engine if you're looking at it from the front. So if you're looking at it at the harmonic balancer, this side is going to be the driver side, and the left side is going to be the passenger side. So these mounts are pretty nice because they do utilize the stock K-member, which I have the stock K-member. I have not upgraded it to a tubular or anything like that. So these ones work fairly well. First off, you're going to want to take your plates here, and like I said, this is going to be the driver's side, and it's got an arrow facing forward. So you're going to have to take this guy and bolt it down onto the 4 bolts that go onto the block, like so. So I'll get those installed. And then you have this piece, the second piece that goes onto these 3 studs that stick out of the plate that bolts onto the block. And this guy gets onto here like this, and you can slide it forward and backward a few inches. So when I put mine together, I pretty much slid them all the way back, which would put the motor closest to the firewall, I believe. I think that's how I set it up. And this way I was able to utilize the stock drive shaft. Just put a TH400 yoke, like the longest yoke you can get off of like a truck or whatever. And I got a conversion U-joint for the stock drive shaft, and that's kind of how I rocked that. And then I just made a cross member out of the stock one with some plate steel, and you know, just kind of positioned it level, and that's pretty much it. But so yeah, like I said, these are already set up. You can see where my washers were previously. They're pretty much all the way over to the far end. Once that is all bolted down, this is the next piece, which this is a factory Mustang mount for like a 4.6 liter, like a 3-valve, like, I don't know, like a 97 to 02 or something Mustang. I forget exactly what it is, but Dirty Dingo specifies what mounts you need. These are just factory mounts. They're like 40 bucks that I bought because you need the mounts. They don't come with the plates. So these guys just get bolted onto these 3 holes here, the existing 3 holes that are left in the plate. And yeah, and then 1 stud that gets bolted into the K-member. It's fairly simple. So figured I'd cover that stuff quick, guys, and let you guys know what mounts I'm using and what you need to do when you install them. And it's kind of cool because you can actually leave like these 3 studs, you can kind of leave them a little bit loose and then get everything else positioned into where you want it, and then tighten these up when you position the motor where you want it. That's kind of what I did when I put this thing in the first time. So yeah, but anyways, I'm just going to throw these back in where they were, and get the mounts thrown onto the engine, and then I'm going to have to get the engine off of the stand and put it onto my cherry picker, and then the cherry picker will have to position it so we can get the transmission and torque converter on, as well as the flex plate, which I am just using a factory flex plate. And the transmission I'm using is a Turbo 400, and it's got a little bit of stuff beefed up in it. It's got some upgraded clutches, it's got the upgraded sprag, or the 36 element sprag or whatever it is, and then it's got TCI reverse manual valve body with a trans brake in it, and that's pretty much it for the transmission. Yeah, it is the HD case too, so the transmission's got the thicker case, which does help out with some stuff rigidity wise. And then the converter I'm using is also a thing that people ask me a lot of. The converter that is in there currently, or the one I'm still using now, is just a cheap Summit nitrous it's a nitrous converter, so it's set up for a power adder or nitrous, and it was like 300 bucks or something, but it's anti-ballooning, which is something you want for sitting on the trans brake and building boost and stuff, because with boost or any power adder really, the torque converter can tend to balloon out, and if it balloons, it can destroy the front pump and it can do a whole bunch of other shit. So that converter seems to be working good for me so far. It doesn't seem to be blowing through. It doesn't seem to be blowing through to the rev limit or anything like that. I mean, obviously it is blowing through a little bit, but you know, with a 400, you can't really get away from it completely because it's a non-lockup transmission, and you can't lock the converter, so you have to run an unlocked setup if you want to stay, you know, fairly basic. But yeah, so hopefully that converter holds up, guys. I'm going to try to see if the engine was just underpowered the whole last time I had the car out, because as you guys know, I kept turning it up, and it wouldn't pick up any power. So I think I was floating the valves a little bit because the power would come in and out, like almost like a boost leak, like it would kind of fade in and out. And it was only at higher boost, so I think possibly that the valves are floating, and I was maybe pushing the cam a little hard. So yeah, also the cam and stuff I had was kind of set up for not as high of RPM as I was actually running. I was spinning the motor like 7,200. And I don't know if the cam was really designed to run that high upstairs, but yeah. So anyways, I'm gonna quit rambling here, and I'm gonna get these mounts installed, and then maybe I'll get a friend over here and we can try to get this thing on a cherry picker and do all that kind of stuff. But also I did install the rocker arms. These are the Trunion upgraded rockers that I installed last night on our live stream. But as you guys know, if you watch the stream, I had one Trunion that was actually missing the bearings on the outside. So there's bearings on each side of the Trunion. So this is the Trunion box that I got. And then this is a Trunion right here. This is just like a roller rocker thingy mabob. And there's bearings that are supposed to go on each side of it. And this one came with no bearings. So that sucks, but I gotta wait and try to find another bearing. But for the time being, I just threw a stock one in there. It should be fine for now. I'll replace it as soon as I get the bearings in the mail. But yeah, so also got my coolant temp sensor installed. I got the cam sensor installed and the crank sensor installed, which is down on the block down here. Because I had taken those sensors out when I cleaned the block out and got it hot tanked and stuff, because the hot tank actually tends to ruin sensors. So I took all the electronics off of the engine before I threw it in the hot tank to avoid any sensors going bad. I also got the 3-bar map sensor from EFI Source installed back into my intake manifold, and I have to fit the injectors into the manifold still. I got a set of Snake Eater 2200s. The LS1 long style injectors, so they should bolt onto this manifold like plug and play. And then yeah, I'm not going to put the intake or anything on until it's in the car, because honestly it's easier to put these engines in with the cherry picker kind of hooked up to the valley cover here. So I'm going to end up doing that to install the engine. But yeah, so anyways, I'm going to quit rambling like I said, and I'll pick up here in a little while. Hi there. All right, so we are playing Torque Converter today on Hunter Tuned, and we're going to be putting a converter onto my trans. So I figured I'd cover this real quick. You take the old converter, you tip her up like this. Ooh, there's a spider in there. And then line it up onto the shaft, and then you're gonna want to look for 3 clicks as you spin it and push in. That might be 1. Wow, this fucker's being a bitch.
It looks like it's in.
It's not.
No?
Far from it. There it goes.
Oh, okay.
2. Yeah, there we go. Whew. Okay, so yeah, you gotta make sure that the snout goes all the way in. You gotta make sure shit's lined up. And she'll click in like that. There we go. So now we can put the trans onto the engine. Which we already got the engine onto the cherry picker here. And got the flex plate all torqued down. So yeah, next is transmission. Say hello.
Wow.
Okay. Hi. Alright guys, so we are back at it, and Mustang's looking like it did a little while ago, like a few months ago. Motor's back in. So yeah, we got the engine back installed.
Nah, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. So yeah, I got them dirty dingoes up in the old dirty frame there, and should be all good to go. So my intake manifold's just kind of chilling up here. It's not actually bolted down or nothing. I still got to put my fuel rails and injectors and stuff, all that on. Yeah, so I don't know where else I'm going to go from here. We got the converter bolted in, and the tranny's on, clearly. We got the cross member on. I put the drive shaft in. The shifter is all hooked up. I will show you that quick. Oh, you guys can come down here and creep with me. Alright, so there's my drive shaft out the back, out to the old 8.8. There's my old fancy drive shaft loop that I made. There's the old TH400 with the frickin' awesome ass cross member that I made. Oh, that shit's nice and tight. Got my shifter looped around, zip tied to my fuel line. And she goes up to their transmission, up there. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, it's pretty frickin' simple. That's all there is. You know what I mean? You got a fuel line and a return line, and you know, that's about it. Let her eat. So honestly, guys, the next few steps are probably going to be to start wiring the car, getting the MS3 Gold box installed, and running some switches and shit into my dash that we made. I also got to get a fucking windshield put in this damn thing, because yeah, I totally forgot about that. But yeah, so need a windshield, need a few other small things, and then obviously I just gotta get like exhaust manifold gaskets and stuff so we can put the turbo kit back on. And we're gonna have to weld on a V-band flange where my T4 flange was for the new turbo, because it's a V-band inlet instead of T4. So we'll have to do that, and then yeah, that's about it. Yeah. What do you think, Christian? She gonna rip?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's all we've been doing this whole time. I've been sitting here going,
I just can't wait to let this thing eat, dude.
Yeah.
Throw it in third gear and just burn the tires.
Yeah.
That's the thing with this new setup, dude. It's probably gonna be too fast to hook it on the street, like at all.
Yeah, to be able to tune it and shit.
Yeah, I probably won't be able to tune it on the street. I'll probably have to tune it at the track, because I don't got a dyno. You guys want to give me 10 grand, I'll go get a dyno, but you know, this dude's fucking broke.
You know what we could do?
What?
We could buy a junker car, flip it upside down, and make the wheels up to here.
Oh yeah, wheels to wheels, you know, and then we can just fucking.
Yeah.
You can hold the brake for resistance on the other car. Yeah, nice. All right, we figured it out, guys. Just get us a junk car and we'll be on our way. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Probably going to pick up maybe tomorrow and start doing some small things like wiring, get the starter in, maybe get my injectors into the fuel rails and do all that kind of stuff. But I think that's going to be it for today. Have a great day, night, evening, morning, wherever you're from. Have a good one. And
have a better tomorrow.
Have a better tomorrow. If today was bad, you know, if today was good, make tomorrow good too. Okay, I'm done. See ya.